Oh, I just reacted to the Avatar Last Airbender live action yesterday, and I wasn't positive on it. And I got it's my most disliked video so far. Got 2 likes on that video, but I don't care because I think it's gonna suck. And Charlie just reacted to it also. Or I don't know if he reacted to it, but he definitely's got some thoughts on it. See if he agrees
Avatar The
with me.
Last Airbender is one of the all time great shows. But
Agreed.
unfortunately, it's a property that has been abused by some truly evil scoundrels over the
Myself.
years. There's been a complete failure and an insult to its legacy in a live action movie that M. Night Shyamalan directed over a decade ago. There's been a handful of unforgivably trash games, even as recently as a month ago, with something called Quest for Balance, which is a $50 super stinker that was shat out from the rancid, vile bowels of Game Mill. It's more torturous than a saw trap. The goddamn brazen bull was more humane form of punishment than playing
Yeah, I didn't even know that came out. Never heard of it.
Avatar Quest for Balance. And when Netflix
The only things that I like about Avatar are the 2 animated shows that came out. Everything else that has come out, no, not a fan. Or at least I don't know of anything else.
unveiled a few years back that they were going to be trying again for a live action Avatar, a lot of people rolled their eyes and wet their pants, going to bed very concerned and scared because no one that's a fan of Avatar wants a repeat of the 2010 movie that M. Night Shyamalan made. Yesterday, the trailer finally dropped for it, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if it was going to be a blessing or a curse. And I feel as though I'm the only one qualified to opine on the quality of a live action Avatar because I believe I'm the only person on this fucking planet to see the 2010 live action Last Airbender movie multiple times. I exposed myself to more radiation than fucking Chernobyl.
Why would you do that to yourself? I mean, I watched the Dragon Ball Evolution movie a lot, so I guess I'm not one to talk. And I didn't like it any of the times that I watched it.
Ever was by watching this movie multiple times. I made a whole video on it breaking it down. It is abhorrent. You can really feel the hate that M. Night Shyamalan has for the property. In every single shot, there's just this miasma of agony that is just oozing out of the film. It's something truly special. So I honestly don't think there's a single dimension in the multiverse where the Netflix Avatar would somehow be worse than the 2010 movie. You couldn't try to make it that bad. They couldn't even pronounce Aang's name correctly in that movie. They called him Ong. So I'm happy to report, rejoice Avatar fans, that the Netflix trailer for Avatar live action is pretty good. It's certainly better than the 2010 movie.
Yeah, but it doesn't really say anything about what the show is going to be like. I had to do a little bit of digging, and it doesn't sound good.
I know it's a low bar to set, but it clears that for sure. It does seem like they have a team together behind it that cares. I did enjoy it. Now, I do want to dive in a bit more in depth on my feelings about this project going forward. I am still a bit skeptical on how good it's going to turn out. Many of you might not remember this, but 3 years ago, the creators of Avatar The Last Airbender actually walked away from the live action project,
Yep.
citing some creative differences internally that they couldn't reconcile. So that makes me a little concerned because they're not going with the creator's vision, and their vision is the one that led to one of the most iconic cartoons ever made. That usually doesn't bode well. Now, get out your
That's what got me excited in the first place was the original creators were on board. And then they leave because they don't like the environment that they were in. Not a good sign at all.
pen and paper because I'm going to
Didn't
take you
meet
to
their
class
didn't meet their expectations, and they said it was a poor work environment.
real quick. Let's cite a very recent example here. The success of the live action One Piece, a production I thought was doomed for failure. I was bah humbugging about that bad boy for many moons. I didn't think you could take an anime and translate it to live action successfully. I was wrong. And one of the main reasons why I was so wrong is because I didn't realize how involved the creator of One Piece, Oda, was in the production of the live action. And it's very clear that that was the biggest difference maker. You can feel Oda's presence throughout the entirety of.
You know, I didn't even watch it. I will someday, but I'm like in season 3 of the actual One Piece show, season 4, somewhere around there. I've watched a lot of it. One, I'm taking a break, and for two, I think I want to watch. I want to at least get about 600 episodes deep before I start watching other content that it involves.
The live action One Piece in order to steer the ship properly and make a very good show that stands on its own two legs even outside of the One Piece anime. So people that have never seen the anime still really like the live action. For example, Danny. Danny never watched the anime, he loved the live action, and it got him into the anime, which is something I didn't even know would be possible. So clearly having the creator of the property you're adapting involved is extremely important. Stand back, I'm dunking from the free throw line with this next example I'm dropping on you here. Live action Cowboy Bebop from Netflix. The live action.
Let me tell you something. Cowboy Bebop is in my top 5 all-time favorite shows. Fucking love Cowboy Bebop. Didn't watch the show. Knew it wasn't gonna live up, so I was like, no, not gonna watch it. Turned out to be one of the worst live-action remakes of any show ever.
Cowboy Bebop is an absolute disaster, a fucking full-blown Category 5 catastrophe of a show. And guess what? The creator of Cowboy Bebop was not involved in the production of it in any way, shape, or form. And look at how it turned out. It is horrible. That piece of garbage is so foul, if I took a shit on it, my poop would be embarrassed to be on top of it. It is bad. So the fact that here, the creators of Avatar threw their hands up and said, bye-bye pussies, we're not doing this, we're out, is a little concerning, because it makes me nervous with the direction that they're going to take this. Like, this could turn into some kind of fucking sci-fi show. They might try and make this Stranger Things, but with airbending. Like, who knows? So, while I do think the trailer is fine, like, it looks good, I'm still nervous. Another thing I've talked about a lot on stream.
What I noticed was they said they were going to be expanding some of the storylines, including some romantic interests, and I'm not in for that. I don't want a whole bunch of romance in it. The level of romance the original Avatar had was the perfect amount, because it was barely any. You kind of got hints, and sometimes it said it outright, but it was sprinkles all the way up to the end. And you don't really even know what happens to the characters until Korra. And that's awesome.
And I still firmly stand by this. If you're just taking a animated show, Avatar in this case, and translating it one-to-one to live action, it feels worthless. You already have a beautiful piece of animation that tells an incredible story. Taking that and then just putting a new coat of paint on it just doesn't really seem to do much. Kind of like Lion King, where they took the Lion King animation and then turned it into a pseudo live action movie with the CGI Lion King, which is basically just the same movie, but with CGI instead of, 2D. And it's fucking worthless. Like that, it's entirely worthless. I don't think it adds any value. It's just a cash grab. So if that's the direction they're going, it wouldn't exactly be the most satisfying thing in the world just to see the cartoon I already love being played out again, but with real people. It's not going to enhance it. Like, things that you can do in the animated medium simply cannot be done well in the live action medium, period. The reason One Piece, for example, works so well in the live action and the anime is the One Piece live action is pretty different from the anime.
There's gonna have to be a lot of CG involved in this new Avatar. That's what I noticed. And I think hopefully it's gonna hide the fact that it didn't have that much of a budget. Even if it did have a high budget, it doesn't have a high enough budget to be as good looking as the original Avatar. So they're gonna have to get stylistic with it, or it's gonna look like garbage.
Anime. It goes, of course, down the similar story beats, but it executes everything differently, and it breathes new kind of life into One Piece that wasn't necessarily there in the same episodes that it was adapting from the anime. So Oda being there and recognizing that just going one to one with it's not exactly going to hit the same way, changed it a little bit and made it really enjoyable. Now, of course, the show hasn't premiered yet. It's not out. I'm just speculating. Maybe they don't just go one to one with it, though the trailer makes me believe they are going to try and do a lot of exactly the same stuff from the cartoon into the live action, but maybe they're just doing that to show that they actually do have a passionate team behind there. That's entirely possible. It's not out yet, so I don't know exactly what the direction is. I'm just stating that I'm still a bit concerned knowing that the actual creators of the show left the project over creative differences. That's a pretty big deal, in my opinion.
That's a deal breaker for me. Even if people come out and say it's good, I might watch it in like a few years. But I seriously doubt it.
But it could still turn out great. I hope it turns out great. I don't want another bad Avatar live action.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a 10 out of 10.
Shit. So that's my full thoughts on that. I do also want to briefly mention something that's really flown under the radar, unfortunately. Netflix also released the teaser trailer for the live action Yu Yu Hakusho. And I haven't seen anyone talk about that yet.
Okay, Charlie. I'm gonna have to watch that after this.
This is something I was extremely skeptical on being good in any capacity because Netflix adaptions, for the most part, are huge fucking misses. Aside from very rare exceptions like One Piece, they don't do a great job of it. So when I saw they announced live action Yu Yu Hakusho like a year or two ago, I immediately just wrote it off, rolled my eyes, and said, yep, that's going to be turbo ass. And now that they've released the trailer, I can comfortably say, maybe there's a chance. Like, I'm shocked to say it, but there might be a chance that this is pretty good. I didn't outright hate the trailer. I think it's very rough around the edges, but it's...
Yu Yu Hakusho, I'm more willing to give a chance because the tournament arc in Yu Yu Hakusho really pissed me off.
A teaser, first and foremost, so it's not like they showed a ton. But what they did show, I thought was fine. CG is a little wonky in a couple of the scenes there, but that's to be expected. I kind of like the direction they seem to be going. It's kind of taking characters that you don't see until the Dark Tournament saga and bringing them into the fold much earlier. And it piques my curiosity. It piques my curiosity on how they're going to handle that and what the direction they're going with the story is. It could be pretty decent. And like the couple of the fight scenes they showed, like the choreography looked kind of hype. So who knows? I thought that had no chance, was doomed to failure, but it really wasn't like alarmingly trash or anything like that. Not in my opinion. So yeah, I just wanted to briefly shout that out there because man, what if Netflix is actually getting it together and releasing like some
yeah, right.
banger adaptations? That'd be fucking incredible. So yeah, anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, I seriously doubt it. Just because they got one good one and one decent one. Because Bleach was, I just kind of wish they would have continued it maybe, but that's another worry you gotta have. It's like, what if they just make one season? Because that's the thing that they like to do. Or even two. They make 2 seasons and just don't do the third season.